So I just made this video right here, and I'm just sort of going to go through how I did it, because the other videos that I have planned need a bit more planning, so I need to film something today, so we're going to do this. And I'm going to make use of the subject of a future video. Okay, so this is where I had everything set up to film. Right here, I have a table with my camera bag on it, and that was what the video was about. You can see the table right there. And then directly behind, we have the tripod. Now, I did film this one on my phone because it was a packing my camera bag video, so I wasn't going to just not pack my camera. So I do have the phone mount on the tripod right there. So one, it was easy to film vertically. Two, it's the next best option after this camera, because even though I do have another camera for a little bit, I think my phone's still better than that. Okay, so here's the background of what I have. That's the C-stand, subject of a future video. It's not quite done yet, so I'm not going to talk about too much about it now. But I feel like I've done a pretty good job with it, and it's going to get even better. Just waiting on my light to arrive, because that's going to go up there, and that's sort of like the biggest part of it almost. But whole video coming on that soon. But right here, table. This is the table that normally just sits over there next to that mirror. And I brought it in mainly to film videos at, so I can just sort of sit at it or stand next to it and have some sort of surface that I can put stuff on, or, you know, just rest on when I'm doing sort of talking head style videos, or if I'm showing products or something like that. It makes sense to have a table. Directly behind you are the tripod that my phone was on, and the mic stand. Now, I apologize for the bad lighting, and also that sound. I don't know if you can hear it. People like to make a lot of noise on Sundays for some reason. So this is the other side. We have the table right there. Tripod, my phone is right there. So it was annoying to actually be able to like monitor it and look what was on the side. Because obviously on a phone, most phones, the camera on the back of the phone is generally way better than the camera on the front. So you can't really monitor what the camera's seeing. So I just had to set it up and make sure it looked all good beforehand, before I hit record, but that's fine. And here we have my mic stand that I don't really use anymore because I have the C-stand. That boom arm right there is for a mic when I'm filming videos on that. Again, coming soon. But this mic stand still works, you know, to hold a mic for now, especially if I wanted to have the C-stand in the background like I did, because otherwise it was just a plain wall. So I was like, let's leave that in the background. I was literally only going to use it for the mic, so I might as well just use this mic stand instead. Now, this is my Rode NTG1 shotgun mic, XLR all the way into the Rode AI1 interface right there, plugged into my computer, and I record all my audio from this in Audacity, which is just free recording software. And once I was done filming, obviously I had the file for the audio directly on my computer, so that's fine. I just exported that as a WAV file, and then I can put that into DaVinci Resolve to edit. For the video, usually I would have to take the SD card out of the camera and put it onto my computer. This time, just plugged my phone into my computer because I filmed on my phone, obviously. And then it's just to put those files into a folder and then chuck them into DaVinci Resolve. Also, as you can see from here, this is the main key light that I use, which is the streamer light that I've got, that I used to use as my key light at my desk, but now I've got it as my hair light, so it's sitting back way behind me. And at the moment, I use it as a key light when I'm filming these sorts of videos, because I haven't got my proper light yet. Okay, so now we are plugged into the computer, so I'm actually recording on OBS now, and I'll just show you how I sort of went about editing that short, because it was pretty simple, but I feel like it's a pretty easy style to consume, and therefore could potentially do well. I don't know, maybe by the time this is posted, we'll have known how the short went, but we'll see. So normally when I edit, I run DaVinci Resolve in dual screen mode, so I can have the timeline on one screen that you can see, and then I have the preview and the media library and everything like that up on my other screen. But for the purpose of showing you, I'll just turn that off, so we'll just get rid of the dual screen mode. So now we're just seeing everything on one screen. Preview is really small because I never use it like this. So I had my audio that I recorded on Audacity, and then I had my video file. Usually it'll be a bit more complicated, but because these are just one audio file, one video file, no B-roll or anything, it's just there. This is super simple. So I dragged them in. I tried to use the auto align feature by waveform on DaVinci Resolve, but it didn't like it, so I guess I couldn't do that. I don't know why. So I synced them manually. That's why I always do claps beforehand. I'll like do some of these or clap, just so you can like, there's a clear spot to line them up, and you can get that good sync. Or at least it's good enough that no one's going to notice. Ideally, I'd do them by software, but for some reason it didn't like the video from my phone. Once I've got the clips, I made a couple cuts here. You can just see like the little pauses, and the video is, you know, packed my camera bag in under a minute, and the video is, now it's exactly a minute long. It was just barely over, so I just cut out those little bits at the start before I actually started packing. So I deleted the original audio track from the video file on my phone and linked the audio file from my shotgun mic. And as you can see, the whole project there, pretty basic. I've just got a quiet music track in the background. Hopefully it's quiet enough that you don't really notice it, but it's there, so it's just not a weird silence. I added all these text things. In the first few, I had each word pop up individually, just because that's much more interesting, especially at the start of a video. And the rest of them, I just put in what I was talking about at any given time. Whatever I say, that just sort of pops up on screen. So then a lot of people do watch short form content with no sound. And of course, you know, some people can't hear. So this just sort of gives that a bit more accessibility to the video, and it's not just somebody talking, you're like, I'm not going to watch this because I can't hear them. Once all of that was in, I went over into the color tab of DaVinci Resolve, and I made a few adjustments. I just made the whole thing a bit darker, and then I put a mask around myself and brightened that up, added a bit of contrast, so eye pop, but the background is almost black and white, almost. So I made the background, you know, lower contrast, a little bit darker, and made myself the opposite. So I just added a mask around myself, and so just eye pop a little bit more, so you're not looking at the background too much. It's just sort of there. And that was a very basic color grading. I just added onto the same thing on all the clips in a couple nodes. Pretty basic. If you want me to go over this stuff, now I'm not an expert on any of this. I barely know much about color grading, but if you want an editing video, I can probably do that. Once I was happy with the color grading side of things, I went over into the Fairlight tab, which is the audio sort of whole thing, and all I did was, if I just move my camera over here in Dynamics, I added my standard voice preset that I just have that has a compressor and a limiter on it. I added an expander to try and take out the crows that you can even hear now making noise in the background, and somebody mowing, even though this was happening like an hour ago. They stopped mowing, and the birds stopped making noise, and now they're back. They must know that I'm trying to record stuff. Anyway, I just added a limiter at -3, just so it never actually gets up to 0 dB. I added a 4:1 compressor at -6, just so when those sounds are getting a little bit louder, they're not getting as loud. So in those last few decibels before -3, it brings them way down, so that last little bit is compressed, as you can see on the graphic up the top right there. And then I added an expander at the bottom end. Again, get rid of those background sounds without it sounding too harsh of a cut. And I'm just gonna wait for that plane to go past. If I added a noise gate, it would sound more like a harsh cut. So as soon as I stopped talking, it would go weirdly silent. But the expander does the opposite of compressor. It'll make things quieter the quieter they are. So they're still there, but they're way quieter. Below that threshold, they just get significantly more quieter at whatever ratio I have. It's at 3:1 right now. So once that was all done, I was happy with that. I just went into the export tab. I exported it as an MP4, just using my like short preset that I've made. MP4 1080 by 1920. When I first opened the project and started it, I set the timeline resolution to 1080 by 1920. So I was editing in the resolution and aspect ratio that I was going to export it at. I also just changed the bitrate there. I changed it down to 30,000. I'm not quite sure what sort of the best range for bitrate is, especially if this is only a 1080p video, but I don't know. I'm experimenting with things and how it goes regarding file sizes and quality. And then I just hit export, uploaded it, and it is now on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So go watch it all those places and like it and comment and interact with it and stuff like that. So I don't know what this video was. It was just sort of, I didn't know what else to film. And the things that I did want to film, I haven't done the preparation needed to film them. So this is what you get for this week. Now, I'm very excited about the whole C-stand video. That's going to be a fun one, not only to film. I filmed some of it, but I'm going to do most of it once the light comes and I can fully set it up. I'll see you in that video, or in the streams if you hop into the stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. If you're new here, subscribe. Videos every week, 3 streams a week, and then I'll see you in one of them. Okay, bye.